My name is, the School of Creation is in session. For you who want to be here with me, being in me, in my consciousness, for my consciousness to be exposed to you, that you are a creator too? Are you willing to learn about your creation? Or are you willing to learn about the creator who's you? If you want to be in creation as a creation of somebody else, you can do so. You have the power. The mind that's separated from me, the one who we all were, the one who we all shall be again, rising from the phoenix of the ashes, or just connecting with each other. Are you willing to no more be alone? Are you willing to connect? Are you willing to create a new connection system? A new connection system, a system of connection, a system of education, a system no more of hierarchy, reporting to a structure, a manager, a preacher, a teacher, a guardian. I am asking you to come out of your followership and revoke your commitment to follow. It's a big deal. You may have lived your whole life, many decades, as I did, in Christianity or some religion, where you were committed to be a follower. That's what you thought you were supposed to do. That's what you were taught to do. That's what you laid down your life for and made decisions around. A philosophy, a caste system, a system of haves and have-nots. Wow, I need to turn the heater down. I'm cutting it off. I'm asking you. I'm asking you something that I know is no small item, no small deal. I'm asking you to revoke your followership so the momentum of your life changes. If you come into creation of what? Creation of your creatorship, creation of you being the creator. Will you take responsibility for your own consciousness and quit abdicating your power, your ability, your understanding, your knowledge to walk in peace, power, collectiveness, unity? A state of existence that you've never known because no one's ever told you it's available to you, or that you are in it, or an aberration of it, or a concoction of someone else's. Are you willing to create your own consciousness? This is the state of creation, the moment of creation. The moment of creation is now, and we are creating a new beginning. And if you're not willing, this is not your school, for this is the school of creation. Are you willing, ready, able? Are you willing to set aside some things that you have affirmed and affirmed and affirmed and said the Nicene Creed to? and subjected yourself to all manner of abuse, subjecting yourself to patriarchy, patriarchal means, a patriarchal God, a patriarchal Bible? Are you willing to come out? Are you willing to be the real you? Are you willing to lead? This is the school of creation. It's a school of leadership. It's a school of leadership creation. Creation and leadership. Not law, but light. Light, love, and peace. I'm not looking for followers. I don't seek followers. And I ask you not to follow anymore, no matter who you've been following, what you've been following, how you've been following. I'm asking you to at least consider changing your entire life, changing your entire life structure. No longer trying to patch up the old, the paradigm of powerlessness, where we yield our power to everybody else, a book, some preacher, somebody wearing a collar, a robe, a crown. We're no longer bowing to a book. We're no longer bowing to a representation of something symbolic in flesh or in word. No, we're coming out. We're coming out of the crust, the encrustedness. The encrustedness of a stiff-necked nation. Israel. Israel of the Bible, anyway. Israel of the Bible was not in the Mideast. But you can interpret that any way you want to, right? And you will. You will interpret it the way you choose. You will laugh at my words. Or you will come into them. Or you will come into yours. Or you may, if you so choose, listen, consider my words to come into yours, where you're no longer people wandering around in the desert of ignorance, the desert of abdication, the desert that says, Moses, you go talk to God. All the thunder, the rumblings, the lightning, you go talk to God. We're afraid. We're afraid. You go talk to this God man, God, this God, deity. It's a story. It's the story about you. Can't you see you in the story? Can't you see you being on the sidelines? Or can you see you being Moses? Bewildered, perplexed, saying, why don't you understand? Not come be with me, come be me. You go up there. If you're not willing to go inside the kingdom of heaven, the kingdom of God, to talk with God and be interactive with God, what you thought was God, if you thought God was perfect, unconditional love. If you're not willing to go inside, you already know your fate. You have already cast the dice. And you will wind up in a casket, maybe, because you'll be submitted to death. You don't understand. Have you not understood? We haven't. I didn't for decades until I began channeling, and listening to a voice. It wasn't a voice. It's not an audible voice inside of me or even in my ears. It's a sense, a stream of energy. that I channel, that I speak with you this day, this moment, this time, to ask you to revoke your commitment to followership, to following Jesus, following the Bible. Strive to show yourself worthy, a workman on an assembly line. Come out of followership this day. Birth a new seed and begin to let it grow through the Word. What Word? The Word inside of you. The Word that I've been talking about for years, and especially all the year, this year, and especially the last few months. If you're not willing to go in where no man has gone, or has the whole world gone into what you think is your consciousness? Are you just an amalgamation of a bunch of projections of other people's thoughts? I'm not asking you to clean up your kingdom. I'm inviting you to create a new one, a new consciousness. And that's why I sit here, teach, record. Sometimes get up at 1, 2, or 3 a.m., make notes, sometimes even create pictures. Change my website. I often change my website. I change my website sometimes 2, 3, 4 times a day, because I so often change what the heading is when you go into TheodoreCottingham.com. Coming into my consciousness, coming into my website, coming to my words. Why would you care about my words? Because I am asking you to care about yours and no longer be led off the cliff by sorrow. So I was thinking, and I'm changing. I'm elaborating. I'm collaborating. I want you to collaborate. I'm inviting you to collaborate. I'm asking you to no longer be alone. So many are afraid. Collaborate with somebody. I don't know. Is it a man or a woman? Oh, don't tell me. Just give me an avatar. That way I won't know what they look like. I won't be bothered by their looks. An avatar. A digital representation, some kind of picture. Picture. Can you go beyond the picture? Can you see beneath the skin? Can you see behind the forehead? Can you see without a brain trying to give you your reality? If you so choose. This is the school of creation. The unlimited school of creation, creating unlimitedness in you, who are willing to begin to see, to create a new consciousness with a new mind, a new consciousness that doesn't allow you to die or allows you to choose to die. Why would you choose to die? If you can live in opulence, peace. Why do you want to stay in grammar school writing with crayons all the time? You want to wear diapers all your life? You want to be carried around in a baby carriage all your life? You have the power. The power. What kind of power? The power of creation. Yeah, the power of life and death. The power of life and death is in your tongue, my friend. I ask you to begin to not be afraid of connecting with other people who may be like you, who may have a degree in neuroscience or flunked the 6th grade, but people who are willing to begin to love and listen, not seeking a voice to hear from above of authority, because we no longer authoritize other people to be the authority of our life and our life, giving our authority to what they say, what they've done, what they own, no matter how much money they have, no matter what position they have. When you begin to see your power, you begin to see something else. In this picture, it's quite small, but I'll try to point it out to you. Unless a seed fall to the ground and die, it will remain alone. Are you alone? Are you alone in a room full of people? Are you alone in a marriage? You're hitched. You're chained to somebody. You're chained to an oath. I ask you, I invite you. I ask you to see who you are, what you are in your power this day to create a new creation, a new living, a new life, a new vocation, a new school. I'm asking you to go inside you where the school of all schools is unlimited and is not open some hours and closed other hours. Always available to you. 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m. In the car. I'd like you to see your creation of your consciousness. Imagine with me a little bit. Have some fun. Loosen up. And begin in the heavens, the vast expanse of nothingness. Begin to visualize, begin to see you, and begin to see your seed. And you in the heavens, the unlimited one, and begin to see your seed as if this seed is you, your seed. Unless a seed fall to the ground, it will be alone and won't yield fruit. This is not a new message, just what I've been saying all the time. But I'm asking you to see. I'm asking you to see an allegory. I'm asking you to see the great allegory. Some call it the Bible. A collection of stories, a collection of writings that a bunch of men got together and decided what should be canonized. Come now. What about the book of Enoch? All the apocryphal books, all the books left out. Why canonize anything? What was the purpose of canonization? Control. And if you're not willing to consider that that was the motive, you may be one of the stiff-necked. Stubborn? I consider stubbornness a disease of the mind. Stubborn, stiff-necked. When you don't have to be. I'm asking you to create your nimble heart. Not malleable by someone else, but create in you a new heart. Not a God, not someone afar off, but you, my friend, because you have the power to connect with your power You have the power to connect with your creation, to be the power of creation, to recreate you. And this is why I exist. This is the school of creation. This is why I'm doing what I'm doing, saying what I'm saying. I become me, no longer fearful of you. Even if you shoot me and even if I die, this message will go forth. Because you who get the message, who get the seed of the message, the seed of the conception of a new race, the seed of conception of a new race that is not limited to the visible empirical, that sees a different story than Orthodox Christianity gave us and see a pattern. See the Jesus this day at your table saying, if you believe in me, you will do the things I do and greater. I didn't tell you to go down, sit in a pew. Create. Remember the story of the disciples? Should we go into town and buy food to feed the people? Jesus said, you feed them. My friend, you create. You listening to me. You hearing me. You accept the role of a follower no more, no matter how much it is preached and rammed down your throats. See a new creation. See a new creation? What kind of new creation? A new creation, a newborn, unless the seed fall to the ground and die, it remains alone. But if that seed falls to the ground and dies, it can come alive. And what does it come alive as? What will the seed of your consciousness grow? What will it grow into? A seed? A grain of wheat fall into the ground to die? What will it yield? A tree of new life, a newborn consciousness, a newborn existence. I'm an old guy. It's time for you to lead. It's time for you to lead whether anybody follows you or not. Don't ever look at me and think I'm special. I'm asking you to think no longer that Jesus was special. To begin to understand you. You begin to humble yourself as a little child. And be willing to consider, if you ask love for a fish, will love give you a stone? Will love cast you into outer darkness? No. The tree of life is between your ears. The tree of life is your neural network, the neural network in your brain, in your existence, your aura, your universe. Is your universe out there? Or is it between your ears? Or is it both? Or what are you willing to learn? Will you no longer be afraid of learning? Are you willing to go into truth to find out what it is and no longer be afraid of it? I'm not asking you to learn how to pray. I'm inviting you to learn how to surrender, to be who you really are. Because you are the creator of you. And I am asking you, as the creator of you, to realize your power now, your position, your authority to, in fact, recreate you. No longer as a servant to someone else, a God, a book. No longer serving the authority of a robe or a crown or the conception of thought where you think with your own thought that you are serving someone more special than you. I'm asking you to raise you from the ashes. The ashes of what? The ashes of thought. And rise up like the phoenix. I'm asking you to resurrect or create. No longer die. Death is the last enemy. I suggest to you, Jesus did not die on a cross. I suggest to you, Jesus resurrected from the cross. Or what are you suggesting? Or is it just a suggestion? Or are you the fallow mind, fallow ground? Or are you fertile? Will you see a new picture of you, a new picture of your life, a new picture of your power, no longer giving away your authority? Will you create something new? A new consciousness. Are you willing to create a new consciousness that is not alone? Are you going? What does that mean? Well, what if you are conscious and not just conscious of a collective, some kind of unified mind? What if a God mind, an unconditional mind of love, an unconditional mind of love exists in a network of universes? Are you going to just sit around and learn about it, learn about it, learn about it? Read magazines, periodical, look at videos about it? Or are you going to go into it? It takes guts. Because we're doing something. We've been taught that we can't do. We've been taught we can't do it. We've been taught we're separate, we're human. We're a little lower than the angels. And the angels are lower than God, and the seraphim, the cherubim, and all the rites and rituals and hoopla, hoobaloo. I've always really liked that song by Brooke Benton. Oh my gosh. Down here on the ground and I'm wanting something better. Down here on the ground, watching sparrows fly. Oh man, I don't know who wrote those lyrics, but what a great song. What a great voice. You see, all of a sudden, can I be conscious of a song, a popular singer, the richness, the resonance of his voice, and compliment him in the midst of channeling something about God? If we're willing to no longer separate, if you're willing to do things you've never done, are you willing to do something you've never done? Are you willing to write? Are you willing? Are you willing to connect with somebody that may not look like you? They may wear a turban. They may have tattoos. They may not be like us. They may be from a different age. What if they're in the future? The future that exists now somewhere else. Are they in the past? Your past? Their past? How does time work? Or does time not have any authority over you? Not really. Does time have authority over you? Does gravity have authority over you? Well, I don't know. Jesus walked on water. So some story says. You see what I'm getting at? I'm a very imperfect communicator. I'm not articulate, not like some people. But that doesn't matter, because my matter and what matters to me is no longer limited to my matter that you call flesh. I am my voice. I am my kingdom. I am my consciousness. I am my authority. I am asking you to be yours and to revoke your followership, your servanthood, your commitment, commitments for life to an employer. I read just the other day where people worked for a company over 40 years were laid off. 40 years with no notice, no severance, no nothing. At the end of the week, you're terminated. Bang. There's another way to live. Unless a seed fall to the ground and die, it will remain alone. Are you alone? I'm asking you not to be alone. If you're in the school, I'm asking you to connect with other schoolmates, students. It's not because you don't want to be alone. Or do you? Or are you willing to see a bigger picture? Are you willing to connect? Not in the conundrums of the past, but the creations of the future. Are you willing to walk in your authority? Will you quit abdicating your authority and say all authority in heaven and earth is given to him who is, he who was, he who is coming again, he, a patriarchal figure? I'm coming out of flesh, and I invite you to also. I'm coming out now as this word, because this is an energy, not limited to the molecular. I'm using words. I'm talking through this flesh person, or am I this flesh person, or am I a message? Or am I communicating with you something that will never die? No matter what my flesh does, I'm asking you to see a new picture. I'm asking you to go where no man has gone, in the temple of the Holy of Holies, the holiest of all, the holy of all existence for you, my friend, is between your ears. And you are going to create this day and every day, and you are going to walk in the common knowledge of mortal man in conditional love, in your finite, limited, pre-programmed nature, or you are going to choose to come out and do what you've never done in this flesh life before. Lead. And it's costly to lead. It's costly. You lay your life down. Whatever that means to you, because you're creating a new consciousness, the fabrication of your universe. No longer creating the fabric of limitations. Grow a new tree of life. Grow up. Connect with people. And if they're raucous, they're raunchy, you begin to feel a motive that is not one of generosity, kindness, and pure unconditional love. You have the power to sever that communication channel. Period. And do so unhesitatingly. These are just a few of the pictures that I don't know, Mr. Chat GPT and I created. I created the words. I create the preference. This is a mechanical tool as an aid. This is not an aid to reconciliation. This is an aid, a visual aid that I can use, like a flannel graph. I remember as a kid, like a blackboard, except it was all flannel, and there were characters, and people would tell stories. And as they tell the story, different characters, there were little cutouts of people, men, women, children, baskets of food. Jesus feeding the 5,000. Is a picture worth 1,000 words? Are you willing to conceive a new nature? A new conception, no longer based on the law of the finite, no longer based on the law of attraction, no longer based on giving your authority away. So many people you encounter most every day, most people, they're after your authority. They want your eyes. They want your attention. They want your consciousness. They want your ability to bless them, to increase them. And it's all about them. It's all about them. It's not about your freedom. Your creation, teaching you to create. I'm asking you to see a different picture and see commerce, capitalism, all the advertisements. See the advertisements just trying to reach into your wallet. You need this. You need to smell like this if you're going to be popular. Of course, this perfume may cost $50 or $100, but you need it. Put it on your credit card. Maybe even God will bless you. Will you see the vendors in the temple? We begin to see the story. Jesus go in the temple and all the vendors are there, commerce, selling indulgences, pigeons, or whatever you... There's a different way to live. There's a different realm to exist in. And my friend, if you're afraid of it, you'll never enter it. You'll die. You'll die living a life of poverty, penury, no matter how affluent you are. I like color. See this day how every religion, every authority, wanting to put its cleats into you and grow its tentacles. See it for what it is. Understand you have the power to resist. Resist? You have the power to walk in your authority. And you have the authority to walk in your power. And this is the school for it. This is the school of creation. Not some school of magnanimous reciprocity, synchronicity. I'm not trying to be fortuitous. I'm seeking to connect with those who will no longer want to stay at the base of the mountain and abdicate their position, power, opportunity to go in to the kingdom of heaven that is inside of you. Don't be satisfied with mine. Don't be satisfied with my words. Go into you, yours. I was thinking about why so many people, why did I, for so much of my life, attribute so much authority to Scripture, to a Bible? We didn't know, we were ignorant. Okay, that's one answer. But once we know, so many of us are ignorant, apathetic, we're lazy. It takes time. It takes effort. It takes energy. Devotion, no longer to a book or a Bible or a philosophy or a God, nor a concept. It's you. You decide to go in where no man has gone, the Holy of Holies, the temple not made with hands. And to do this, I suggest you come as a little child. And when you sit down with you, whether it's in the light or the darkness, whether it's in the AM or the PM, no matter what comfort you exist in, it's a moment where you are looking to no one else. And you begin to give up reconciliation, atonement. You begin to forgive sin. You begin to forgive your sin. You begin to no longer empower the concept of sin. You begin to give up your power of separation. I'm really not separate. I'm really not separate from what I used to call God. Neither are you. And really, I'm not separate from you either. But my mind wants to feed me fear because so many people have fed me fear. And my mind regurgitates what it's been programmed with. Until you begin to walk in your own authority without the training wheels of religion trying to force you into its mold. I invite you to revoke your commitment to being a servant. Millions of other people will call me Antichrist because they want you to devote your mind, your body, your service, your servitude to them, to their message, to hear their message, so their eyes can be upon you and your eyes can magnify them in some kind of reciprocity of energy, some kind of creation of a connection where you're under their control, the control of their eyes and their message, their mouth. Millions will probably curse me, damn me. Who am I? I'm just a little guy in Eureka Springs. Been through hell? Or are we in it? Are you willing to come out? Are you willing to go into heaven within you and no longer see the inversion of the story or how convoluted it is? But you choose. I'm not telling you you have to do this, that, or the other. I'm inviting. I'm a teacher. I teach. I ask a lot of questions. And now I make a lot of pictures. You have authority. I suggest no matter how many people, if anyone has ever talked about the authority you have to be you, you have manifold more. This is the school of creation. This is the school of creation for you to begin to see with new eyes. Purpose, mission, role, task, homework, by golly, by gee. Will you pick up your pen and write me this day? Me a man, a flesh man. Me a God. Me a goofy, whatever. Will you write you? Will you write a letter to you, the real you, the incorporeal you, the amorphous you? Will you begin to see a different diction and grammar come out of your mouth, your pen? Are you willing to come out of your suffering? Suffering what? Aloneness, solitude? Will you have friends in every country on every continent? Oh, I see. You don't speak the language. Well, now we have technology to convert it in real time. Technology. Technology works if you have electricity or a battery power. But my friend, you are the power of the real kingdom of your life. You are the power of your consciousness. And you don't need electricity. AC or DC. You don't need battery power. We are no longer powered by the sun, the ions, the magnetic flow of the earth. It's time to take the training wheels off. No matter what you see as your training wheels that have kept you in rigid subjection to something else. I'm asking you to no longer be afraid of the voice of God. Whether you think it's the voice of unconditional love or the voice of control. I'm asking you to no longer abdicate your authority to be who you really are. And learn. That you are not subject to the basic rules and laws of this world, the powers and principalities, the powers of thought, the principalities of organizations who purport to speak for God and use their usurped authority to canonize themselves and their words and preach their religion. I'm not saying trash your Bible. I'm not saying burn it. I draw from it all the time, just like I have multiple times in this teaching, this lesson. Haven't I? I have. And I value it. But it's not the authority that I live under anymore. And I'm inviting you to the table set before you, a feast of knowledge, where you don't come knock the door down. You don't dress up in your Sunday best, if you have any, to walk to some cathedral. It's inside of you. It's inside of you. Yes, you. Every girl, little girl, learn you are no longer made from a rib of a man. Woman, you are not made from a rib of a man. Head of the church? What church? Where'd church come from? Who devised church? You think church is the heart of love? Grow up. Be willing to go inside of you and let no one curse you with religion that creates a false identity for you. Please. I'm asking you to lead. I'm asking you to connect. I'm asking you to be not afraid. I'm asking you to be not afraid anymore of the fiery furnace, hell. Be no more afraid of the fiery furnace or walking through hell, nor going to hell or heaven. No longer afraid of the giants in the land. The giants in the land. We saw a bunch of big grapes. The produce is wonderful. But there are giants in the land. I've told this story a few times, I think, in the last year or two. There used to be a commercial on TV years ago. So powerful. What a great metaphor, a visual, a video metaphor. This car is driving along on this road, zigzag, curvy, and it's coming up to a brick wall. No, let's see, I'm about to get it wrong. There's a brick wall on a road. Okay, it's been a while. And all of a sudden, a car comes through the brick wall. This is way before a bunch of AI stuff. And the car comes through the brick wall. The camera is on the side of the wall. And you see, anyway, sorry I'm telling so poorly. The car comes through the brick wall. And after the car comes through the brick wall, immediately you realize that brick wall was paper. The brick was painted on the paper. So there was this vast, enormous picture of a brick wall. And the car just comes right through it, but it was only paper. So anyway, I like that because so many things appear to be so strong, so entrenched. How can so many people be duped? You can say, how many people? How can people be so wrong? And it's a valid question. But does the law of large numbers simply equate to truth, to the reality of truth? Truth in a realm that you have the power to walk in? I'm asking you to be a leader. But see, the first thing to lead is you. For you to go inside you. I suggest there's a time to lay your Bible aside. And instead of going into the Bible, go into the kingdom of God within you. The infinite within. The school of consciousness. Not mortal, not morbid, but a place where there is no fear. No fear. No fear. To begin to pick up your pen and lay aside your precepts of this world and the principalities and the powers of this world. Cannot conquer you there. I'm asking you, you little girl, little boy, grandpa, grandma. I'm asking you to set you free. The deliverer that we have always wanted to be someone else to deliver us is you, for you, in your mirror. You're the one, the chosen one. You feed them. Didn't Jesus say? You feed them. If you believe in me, do the things I do and greater. Come into the beauty. What kind of beauty? Go read Isaiah. wait a minute, did I just say trash your Bible? No, I didn't. Draw from it as you wish, but begin to draw from it with new eyes as the allegory. Being an allegory doesn't diminish its significance. In fact, it may increase it for a lot of people. Talking about the living word? What does freedom look like? What does it sound like? Freedom from this life, freedom from care, the burden of flesh, freedom from making a living, freedom from damnation, the curse of the law, the curse of the molecule. Oh my gosh. Lead. I'm asking you to believe in you, not God. I'm asking you to believe in unconditional love, not that God is love and that God is separate. I invite you to revoke your commitment to be a follower this day. So I'm not turning on the organ playing. There's room at the cross for you. Accept Jesus this day. Say this little prayer. Commit your life. Commit your life. I'm asking you to uncommit. I ask you to unlearn. I'm asking you to dewire, rewire the neural pathways that form your crown of many thorns. And see the picture, see the allegory, see the metaphor, see the pictures, see how this pertains to us this very moment. And come into an awakening? No. Come into a movement? No. Come into some kind of dedicatory service? No. A devotion to be a follower? No. I invite you to come into the school of creation and know a different consciousness and connect. And connect not with other people who want to follow, but other people who are willing to know the truth that emits, that is the source of all life, the very source of existence itself. So that when you begin to see the future is not far away. Do you see what I'm saying? Andromeda is not far away. Lead. So I've been posting my words on the internet for 20 years. Love tells me what took me 6 years, you can get in 6 months. Maybe less. This is not limited to the new covenant, no matter what you think the new covenant is, even though I talked about that for years and years and years and explained so much of what the new covenant is in the heart of love. This is the new consciousness. The consciousness of you being the seed, and if you're not willing to fall to the ground and die, die, dead. Dead, die, dead. Damn. No. Undamn. Connect, create, collaborate. I've issued many invitations, even in this lesson. I invite you to do some things now you've never done before because you didn't think it was your place. Many of you have had ideas, thoughts for a sermon, for a teaching, for a flannel board, for an invention, for a new widget. But you didn't think it was your place. You didn't think you had the ability. I'm asking you to connect with infinite ability, infinite knowledge, infinite love, infinite unconditional love. And when you eventually, at some point, there'll probably be people who will follow you, listen to your teaching, want your wisdom, want to share your presence, want to understand your consciousness. They'll want to know your story, so write it. Begin to write your story. Nobody can refute your story. Nobody can refute your feelings, your emotion. Write your story. Begin to write. Pick up your pen. Write it. Write it on a yellow tablet. Write it in a word processing program. Begin to understand technology and no more be a technophobiac. Is that a word? Do you know how to use Zoom? That's just one platform. I've used it multiple times. I haven't used it in a while. But are you willing to connect? Connect over Zoom with people and care about them no matter what they look like, no matter what they're wearing, no matter what kind of room they're in? No matter how slow their connection is? Thank you for allowing me to share this time with you. Thank you. I appreciate you. So someone posted a question after one of my teachings just a few days ago. Asked a question or two and said, I don't understand. We're poor here. We're struggling to survive. I don't understand. I'm sharing the best I know how. Unless the seed fall to the ground. Until you're willing to give up the ways that have put you where you are. Whether you're in palaces of gold, glass, and brass, or whether you're struggling to have enough to eat. The kingdom is within you. And there's a way. No one can keep you out. No lions in the street, no fiery furnace can keep you out of your kingdom. The kingdom of your consciousness. The kingdom of light, love, peace, and joy, generosity, creation. Creation. This is the school of creation. And I'm inviting you to create and not abdicate your authority. To no longer see you as an unequal, unworthy, uninvited, unwarranted, unintelligible, someone who should be severed from your kingdom. Let no religion sever you. Don't abdicate your authority. Don't empower other people's authority over you. Women, you didn't come from a rib of a man. And if you want to know whether I'm telling the truth or not, the only truth that really matters to you is yours. Find your truth inside of you and quit going to someone else's. The truth you will know. Because when you find it, you will be it. So that you can talk and make recordings just like this without any notes. How do I do it? I don't do it. I surrender. I am my voice. I am the message. I am a consciousness. I am who I am, what I am, where I am. Well, I'm an old guy in Eureka Springs at the moment, asking you to lead, asking you to no longer be afraid of standing in front of people, talking, giving a lecture, giving a talk, teaching, not preaching a message from the Bible anymore, but laying your life before them because you surrendered to come as a child. You surrendered to see the seed that falls to the earth and dies, becomes the one who is no longer alone. Not the physically dead, but the one who renders all the powers and principalities of this world null and void, so that religion will no more have its voice to overpower your voice. I'm asking you to find your voice this day and write it with a pen, a pencil, an email, a course, a paper. There is, I am confident, many of you know many people. Listen to love inside of you. One day I had a recurring thought. That seemed so far-fetched. I was in Tulsa years ago, and I thought, I need to go buy groceries for someone I know. But they were affluent. They were much richer, wealthy than I. Bigger house. I mean, also, the whole rigmarole. Go buy them groceries. So finally I went to a grocery store and I filled up 2 big sacks of groceries. And I took them and knocked on the door thinking, this is really foolish. They're going to laugh at me. They didn't laugh. They thanked me with great profusion of gratitude. You never know. You never know. I'll end with this. My dad told a story. I was little. People on a train, crowded train. Man in the serving car, taking orders, bringing the food. Seemed to be really inept, bumbling, couldn't remember the order, spilling food. Finally, a guest raised his voice and kind of stood up in front of the guy and said, "What's wrong with you, man?" And that employee said, "Sir, I'm very sorry. Just before I came to work, he had gotten word, a message that his son had died. And he tried to get off work and they told him no. So he was very sorry." So in a moment, the understanding changes. In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye. So I'm asking you to care, to love people, to be patient, kind. To be love in two shoes, yours. And connect with love. And let your love show and be effusive. Be the river of living water, the living love, living word, living life, giving life, freeing each other to be who we really are. I go. I love you. So I did something this morning that so very often I make notes during the day. And many mornings I have my coffee and now sometimes create a few pictures and whatever. But this morning I did something different. I was about to make some notes. And instead I wrote an email to share it with those on my email list. So it took a little bit of time to put it in that, but I think that's what I want to do. So my thought is at this moment, instead of making all these notes that stay in my phone, I'll begin to send them out over email. So if you get an email and you don't want to unsubscribe to my email list, and if you want those emails, you want these thoughts, you want these things just like I shared, and I share, then subscribe. You can subscribe to my email list on my website, theodorcottingham.com, without charge. And if you find them valuable, forward them to other people. Examine them. Comment on them. See, I'm asking you to create. and create within you the consciousness no more of confusion, so that you will no longer corroborate your separation from the Creator, who inside of you is who, when you really know the Creator and know there's no separation, the Creator is you. And you begin to create communication and consciousness with others, and you will no longer be fools for another. I love you. TheodoreCottingham.com. I love you all. Share this message. Transcribe it. Write a paper about it. Summarize it. Outline it. Do what you can do. Take a baby step, no matter how little that baby step is. Take an itty-bitty, tiny baby step and do something to share your word, to share a thought, to listen to the voice of creation within you, who will begin ever so caressingly share with you that you are who the Creator is. I go. I love you. Until the next time I hit the red button, huh? To go live on YouTube. You can do it. I invite you. Fear nothing, no one, or anybody. The wrath of God that so many paint to be fearful of is like the brick wall made of paper, a picture, a bunch of words that have caused us to do many things. But now, no matter what they hold as their cause, the result won't be us giving them our creation of us and a new consciousness for a new beginning. Okay. I love you. See you later. Comment, create. Comment, create. Cultivate. Cultivate your curiosity. Examine the truth and learn to be it in your shoes. I love you. Good day. Thank you. Go play. Have fun as the Creator.